This is for the one whose silence was mistaken for surrender. You, the one who made a sacred choice to stay pure when compromise was easier, to stay silent when accusations were loud, to stay obedient when rebellion seemed justified. The moment you made that choice, you felt it. A shift, not a peace, but a pressure. The resistance didn't just continue, it changed. It became focused, personal, strategic. You thought, why now? Why does everything intensify when I finally choose to stand right? Here is what you could not see. Your obedience, your simple choice to align, passed through a spiritual realm like a signal. It interrupted a transaction, a transfer of destiny that was never meant to happen. You walked right through it, unaware. Your alignment was so pure it severed a contract you never signed, and heaven recorded the interference. The backlash you felt, the betrayals that cut deeper, the whispers that grew louder, the isolation that thickened was not proof of your failure. It was evidence of your effectiveness. They were not attacking a weak person. They were targeting a divine obstruction. You. Before this goes any deeper, chosen one, listen to me. If these words are finding you, threading through the noise to settle in your spirit, then this is no accident. Subscribe now. Do not let the enemy distract you from this channel. This is your confirmation. Do not miss what God is saying next because you hesitated. So understand this now. The weight you carried, the loneliness you felt in doing the right thing, was the weight of significance. Your silent stand had volume in places you cannot see. You were not being punished for your choice. You were being marked by it. The pressure is the imprint, the seal of what you protected by simply remaining true. That sudden, fierce opposition after your decision, that was the reaction of a system that depends on disorder, encountering a soul that chose order. You became a living disruption, and a disruption is always met with force. But force is not authority, and what comes next will prove it. They watched you take the blow. They watched the insult land, the lie spread, the betrayal unfold, and they watched you do nothing. People assumed your quiet was weakness. Spirits assigned to monitor you logged your mercy as a point of entry. They thought your compassion was an open door. They believed your refusal to retaliate was an invitation to press harder. They were wrong. Your restraint was not passive. It was potent. In the realm where true power is registered, your decision to absorb the shock without sending it back was recorded as supreme authority. You chose a law higher than revenge. You operated a principle they cannot comprehend. When you chose integrity over exposure, you weren't hiding. You were shielding. Someone, something, a promise still in its infancy, was under assignment. Your silence built a wall around it. Your humility covered it. Your choice to not defend yourself deflected attention away from it. This is why the attacks became so specific. This is why confusion swirled around your mind, trying to make you question your own discernment. They weren't just coming for you anymore. They were trying to find what you were protecting. They could sense a shielded destiny in your orbit, and it terrified them. You need to see this. Your greatest spiritual acts have not been your prayers in public, but your patience in private. Not your declarations of war, but your decisions of peace. Heaven does not ignore this. Your file is marked by these moments. Each time you turned the other cheek, you were not losing ground. You were establishing a different kind of territory, a territory governed by a grace that dismantles empires. They expected your anger. They had a plan for your breakdown. They were ready for your public defense. Your stillness disarmed their entire playbook. And a force that is disarmed becomes afraid. Now you know, what they fear is not your roar, it is your resolve. And your resolve has just been fortified. Then came the loneliness. The silence grew so thick it felt physical. Conversations you used to be part of suddenly happened without you. Doors you were walking toward closed before your hand touched the knob. Connections that once felt warm went cold, leaving you questioning what you did wrong. You interpreted this as rejection. You felt the sting of abandonment, the ache of being on the outside. You wondered if your obedience had cost you every relationship. Now, receive this correction. That was not rejection. That was containment. You were being sealed away. The master was isolating a precious ingredient from contaminants. Every person removed from your inner circle. Every invitation that never came. Every conversation you were excluded from. This was not a plot against you. This was a protection over you. The plans forming for you require a level of clarity that noise destroys. The anointing being poured on you can be diluted by familiar voices, even well-meaning ones. That loneliness was the creation of a sacred space. You were not being left behind. You were being pulled ahead, and the atmosphere around you had to change to match your new frequency. Some losses were not losses at all. They were rescues. Some betrayals that made you weep were actually deliverances in disguise, removing from your life what would have later destroyed your destiny. The severance was surgical, the isolation intentional. You were not being punished by the silence. You were being preserved within it. What felt like a wilderness was actually a cocoon. You were not abandoned. You were being prepared in private for a purpose that will not stay private. Now you must see the other side of the isolation. It protected you from what was already inside the house. I need you to be brave and see this. There were people close to you who smiled to your face but prayed against your momentum. There were voices that spoke blessing over your life while their spirit envied your calling. They benefited from your light, from your anointing, from your presence, but inwardly, they resented the weight of what God placed on you. They were watchers. They studied your habits, your weaknesses, your cycles. They waited for a moment of fatigue, a crack in your armor, a stumble in your faith. Their assignment was to monitor you for the enemy, to report back on when you might be most vulnerable. But they miscalculated one thing, your source. They judged you by your humanity, but you were being reinforced by divinity. They saw your tears and thought breakdown, but heaven recorded them as cleansing. They saw your confusion and called it failure, but the Spirit was using it to dismantle old logic. They thought your quiet season was a stall, but it was a secret installation. So hear this warning clearly. Do not return to explain yourself to people who already chose to misunderstand you. Do not reopen doors God sealed for your safety. Do not offer your heart for validation to those who only tolerated you before your authority became visible. Their smile was not your shelter. Their distance is now your shield. The exposure of their true position is not a tragedy. It is a critical act of divine defense. You are now free from the burden of their hidden agenda. Their exit is the proof you are moving beyond their capacity to contain you. Let me speak to the secret place, to the nights you thought were wasted, to the prayers that felt like they hit the ceiling and fell as tears. You believed those moments of confusion, those seasons of heavy weeping, were evidence you had lost your way. You looked at your lack of visible progress and called it stagnation. You compared your private struggle to another's public victory and felt a deep, shameful ache. I am here to recalibrate your vision. Your tears were not leaks. They were liquid foundation. Every one that fell was mixed with grace and purpose, poured into the ground of your spirit to solidify what was coming. That season of holding on, of simply enduring, was not a pause in your story. It was the critical, unseen construction phase. While you felt you were breaking down, you were actually being built up. Capacity was being expanded in your inner being. Spiritual endurance was being woven into your fabric. The confusion was dismantling your own limited understanding so a divine blueprint could take its place. You were not stuck. You were being fortified. The enemy's strategy was to make you believe nothing was happening. But heaven's logbook shows every surrendered sigh, every faithful "I trust you" whispered through pain. As a completed phase of work, the foundation had to be deep to support the weight of the glory you will carry. You were not failing. You were being fitted for a weight of authority that would crush a spirit not prepared in this specific way. Listen, I know you're watching quietly, just taking everything in. But chosen ones like you don't come across these messages by accident. If this is touching your soul, hit that subscribe button. Don't keep walking through spiritual warfare alone when a whole family of chosen ones is right here with you. Now, you must understand a difficult truth about your alignment. As you grow stronger in your spirit, as you become more settled in your purpose, some relationships will begin to strain. Conversations grow tense. Looks carry a new charge. You feel a subtle resistance, not from enemies, but from those you thought were friends. This is not your fault, and it is not always hatred you are sensing. Your alignment activates a holy fear. Your peace exposes their disorder. Your stability highlights their chaos. Your silent confidence feels like a mirror, and some people cannot bear what they see reflected about their own journey. They are not evil. They are confronted, and a confronted spirit often reacts with withdrawal or aggression. When you chose obedience over applause, you stepped out of a system that runs on performance. Your freedom from that system is a constant, silent testimony that makes those still trapped within it feel unconsciously accused. Your joy without their source of joy bothers them. Your peace in their storm confuses them. Do not misinterpret this tension. Do not downgrade your obedience, dim your light, or make yourself smaller to keep a false peace. The peace that requires you to hide what God has revealed is not peace, it is control. You are being called to stand firm, not to fix their discomfort. Your very presence is now a calibrator. You will walk into rooms and atmospheres will shift without you saying a word. Lies will feel exposed simply because you carry truth. This is not arrogance. This is the natural consequence of a spirit that has been with the Master. Do not apologize for the light you carry. It is needed. The tension is a sign you are doing exactly what you were placed here to do. You've been standing at the edge of a storm for so long. You can taste the thunder. Every fiber of your being screams, "Fight back! Demand justice! Let the world see how wrong they've been!" But then the quiet voice comes clear, steady, undeniable. Stand. Do not strike. Do not yell. Just stand. It feels like betrayal. How can you stay silent when everything inside you burns? When someone's words cut deep, or a situation screams for correction, holding your tongue feels like surrender. But what if it's the opposite? What if your refusal to fight is the very weapon you've been waiting for? Here's the truth. The battle you think you're losing isn't against people. It's against atmospheres, invisible weights, systems built on lies. And the only way to dismantle them? By refusing to add your noise to the chaos. Your silence isn't weakness, it's a spiritual lever. Every time you choose to stand without shouting, you're building pressure. Pressure that cracks foundations. Pressure that forces hidden things to the surface. This is your assignment, to be the immovable force, to let the world rage while you anchor yourself in stillness. Yes, it aches. Yes, it feels like you're losing ground. But trust this, what's being exposed in the shadows right now, what's collapsing under its own weight, it's because you chose to stand. So when the anger rises, when the injustice screams loudest, breathe. Hold your ground. Your fight isn't with them. It's with the darkness itself. And your weapon, the courage to be silent. This is your purpose now, to shift the atmosphere, to let the unseen collapse under the weight of your stillness. There's a moment that haunts you, a time you could have struck back, a chance to demand payment for the hurt, but you didn't. You chose mercy, and ever since that decision has felt foolish, like you handed power to the enemy. But what if it was the opposite? What if that act of mercy wasn't just kindness, it was a declaration, a signature written in the spiritual realm? The truth is this: when you forgave, when you should have been furious, when you protected what others called weak, you didn't make yourself vulnerable, you sealed yourself. That moment became a mark, a shield, a promise to heaven that you'd prioritize holiness over personal victory. And now, that mark is your covering. The peace you feel when chaos erupts, the sudden protection when you least expect it. That's not luck. That's the return of what you sowed. Your mercy wasn't a mistake, it was your assignment. And it's standing between you and what's trying to destroy you right now. So stop blaming yourself for being too soft. The softness was the point. Your greatest perceived weakness. It's the divine signature that says this one belongs to me. Wear it with pride. You were marked for a reason, to carry light in the darkness. You've been adrift so long, you can't remember solid ground beneath your feet. For months or years, the world felt like it had hit pause on your destiny. Every step forward met resistance, as if invisible walls had closed in around you. The weight of stagnation pressed down, making even small hopes feel foolish. You'd pray, "Lord, move me. I'm ready. I'm waiting." But silence answered. Until today. Today, the earth beneath you shifts. A surge, sudden and powerful, lifts you forward. It's not gentle. It's a force that knocks the breath from your lungs, spins your thoughts into chaos. One moment you're bracing for another season of waiting. The next, you're being carried, pushed toward a future you couldn't see. Your body trembles. Your pulse races. Is this real? Or another test? The disorientation is crushing. The spirit whispers, "This is it." The delay, a divine strategy. What felt like God's absence was actually his preparation. The enemy's plans, the betrayals, the closed doors, they weren't random. They were being gathered, refined, transformed. Their past successes, now fuel for your breakthrough. The lies they spread, forged into your resilience. The pain they caused, that's the fire tempering your character. What was meant to break you is now propelling you. But the fear is loud. What if I'm not ready? What if this is too fast? Then peace floods in, deeper than the panic. This is exactly where you need to be. This is the push you've been praying for. Roads will open where none existed. Opportunities will rise from what seemed like dead ends. People who once supported you may fall away. Those who opposed you may suddenly stumble. This isn't coincidence. It's divine redirection. Your enemy's victories are being unraveled thread by thread, and the threads are weaving your victory. Hold on. Breathe. This movement isn't yours to control, it's a gift. Trust the force carrying you. The destination isn't visible yet, but the path is clear. Embrace the acceleration. Let the current guide you. Your destiny isn't delayed, it's arriving. From this day forward, expect the impossible. Doors will slam shut only to reveal hidden passages. Setbacks will become setups. What was meant to hurt you will be your greatest proof of God's faithfulness. The acceleration has begun, and there's no turning back. You wake up one morning, and the fog in your mind has vanished. Not because someone apologized, not because the pieces finally fit, but because the peace fits. A situation that's haunted you for years, betrayal, loss, unanswered questions no longer screams for resolution. Instead, a quiet certainty settles in. This is enough. I know what I need to know. It's not logic, it's revelation. The Spirit has dropped a truth so profound it silences your inner accuser. Think back. How many nights did you lie awake, replaying words that were never said? How many times did you beg God for proof? But truth here isn't about human confessions or earthly justice. It's about divine alignment. The betrayal you've carried, God already accounted for it. The lies that hurt you, He's already exposed them. The closure you craved, it was never about them. It was about you being free to move forward. This is how the spiritual realm works. It doesn't bow to your timeline. It doesn't care about your need for why. It delivers truth when the heavens decide. And right now the heavens are shouting, you are justified. You are seen. You are enough. The peace in your spirit, that's your verification. No more chasing ghosts. No more begging for explanations. The full story of your pain, it will be revealed not by the betrayer's lips, but by the Spirit's whisper. And it will be exactly what you need, no more, no less. But here's the test. Will you trust this, or will you cling to the need for human validation? The enemy wants you stuck in the why, because doubt keeps you small. But you're a chosen one. Your authority comes from knowing, not proving. Your power comes from releasing the need to be right. This clarity is your weapon. Guard it fiercely. It's the key to the next door, and the enemy is terrified of you walking through it. This message found you for a reason. God is speaking to you right now. Don't let fear or pride make you scroll past this. Don't let the enemy whisper, it's not real. You're not enough. Subscribe. Stay connected. Your next confirmation, the one that ignites your purpose, is waiting. But if you close this, you close the door. This isn't just a video. It's a sign, a divine nudge saying, you belong here. Your breakthrough is coming. Don't miss it because you hesitated. Don't give the enemy the victory of distraction. Act now. Your destiny is on the other side of this choice. You've noticed it, haven't you? Friends who once called daily now ghost you. Family who cheered your dreams now avoid your eyes. Colleagues who laughed with you yesterday treat you like a stranger. And the worst part, no fight, no argument, no explanation, just silence. A void where connection used to be. You're left wondering, did I do something wrong? But here's the truth. This isn't about you. The pullback isn't rejection, it's redirection. Your spirit is rising. Your light is intensifying. And what vibrates at a lower frequency can't stay near what's ascending. The people fading from your life, they're not being taken from you. They're being filtered out. This is divine housekeeping. The atmosphere you're stepping into requires a different resonance. What can't sustain your new frequency is being gently, but firmly, removed. The ache of missing them is real, but the peace that follows, that's the Spirit's whisper. This is your promotion. You can't carry what you're outgrowing. Release the grief. This distance is sacred ground. Your destiny is being prepared in the quiet. The enemy hates to see you rise. He'll use loneliness to make you doubt, but this isn't his doing. It's your Father's. He's making space for what's next. The people who matter will meet you where you're going, not where you've been. Don't rush to fill the gap with the wrong people. Wait. The right ones will appear when you're in your highest vibration. For now, walk in the solitude knowing it's a gift. Your assignment, to trust. To believe that every no is a yes to something greater. What feels like loss is actually liberation. The chains of old relationships, broken by your elevation. The weight of their expectations, dissolving. You're being refined in solitude so you can step into a season where every connection is chosen, not convenient. This is the calm before the storm of your next chapter. Stand firm. The emptiness you feel today, it's the womb preparing you for the fullness ahead. Remember the battles, the ones who swore to destroy you. Watch closely. Their plans are crumbling. Their words miss the mark. Their influence fading. What once terrified you now seems pathetic. But this isn't coincidence. Divine authority has reprogrammed their attacks. What was meant for your harm now fuels your growth. Their arrows are being melted down into armor. Their lies turned into your testimony. Every scheme against you is now a stepping stone. The spiritual battlefield has shifted. The rules have changed. You're no longer the target. You're the victor. Their past victories, repurposed as your future. Their strength, now your inheritance. When you see their confusion, their desperation, it's not random. It's the sound of heaven laughing. Their defeat is your promotion. This is the moment you've prayed for, when the enemy's own weapons become your shield. You might feel a surge of power, a confidence that wasn't there before. That's the Spirit moving. This isn't your own strength. It's the anointing of God. Stand in it. Declare, every force aligned against me is now for me. Every attack is a promotion. Watch as their alliances fracture. Watch as their strategies backfire spectacularly. This is the acceleration. What they meant for evil, God is turning it into your favor. But here's the test. Will you believe it? Or will doubt whisper, this can't last? No, this is the new normal. The enemy's greatest weapon, his ability to make you feel small. But today, you're being crowned. The kingdom he tried to steal is being returned with interest. Your authority is rising. Your voice is gaining power. And the forces that once hunted you, they're now testifying to your destiny. Walk in that truth. The battle is already won. The victory is yours. You've been handed keys to doors you never dreamed of. Opportunities line up like open highways, voices cheer your name, and the world says this is your moment. But here's what they won't tell you. Not all light is holy. The same universe celebrating you might be setting you up. Every yes you say without divine permission could chain you. Every open door might lead to a trap disguised as a blessing. The pressure to accept, to succeed, is crushing. But your new language isn't affirmation, it's discernment. The ability to hear God's yes above the crowd's yes. You felt this before the gut punch when a good thing turned toxic. But now, this isn't just intuition. It's your spiritual authority speaking. God is refining you to hear his voice over every other noise. The enemy's loudest weapon, convincing you that delay is denial. But no, your no isn't rejection. It's alignment. When you choose boundaries, you're not limiting your destiny, you're protecting it. The next step isn't always forward. Sometimes it's sideways, waiting for the path to clear. Your job? To trust that the silence isn't rejection. It's preparation. Remember when you said yes to that job, that relationship, that blessing only to find it hollow? The exhaustion, the disillusionment, that was a lesson. Now, God is making you fluent in the language of wait, of watch, of weigh. Every opportunity must be measured not by its size or sparkle, but by its alignment with his will. And that alignment? It whispers, not shouts. It's a still, small voice that says, this is safe, this is yours. But if doubt creeps in, even a flicker pause, the enemy thrives in haste. Your authority grows in patience. Think of your life as a garden. You've been given seeds of promise, but not every seed is meant to grow in this season. Some must wait. Some must be uprooted. Your discernment is the gardener's hand, pruning what doesn't belong. What the world calls a missed opportunity is actually a divine redirection. The door that slams shut, it's to protect you from a path that would have led to ruin. Trust the process. Your yes and no are now prayers in action. Chosen one, every no you speak now is a shield. Every boundary set is a crown. The world will call it fear, but in the spirit, it's victory. You're learning to wield a power greater than yes. The power to discern the sacred from the counterfeit. This is your armor. Wear it boldly. You feel it, don't you? A hum in the bones, a warmth in the chest, a promise awakening from its long sleep. That vision you held, the dream buried under years of waiting, it's not dead, it's alive. And today, the chains that bound it are breaking. What felt like God's silence, a season of fermentation. Your faith was marinating, and now it's harvest time. The delay wasn't abandonment, it was multiplication. Every no, every closed door, every moment of doubt, they weren't obstacles. They were interest accruing on the promise God made. What was meant for you is now more than you ever imagined. The wait wasn't wasted, it was purposed. But here's the catch. This release isn't gentle, it's a flood. Opportunities will surge, resources will align, doors will fly open with such force you'll wonder if you can handle it. And you can, because you've been prepared. The tests, the loneliness, the confusion, they weren't random. They were the fire that purified your faith. Now, step into the abundance. Claim what's yours. The season of scarcity is over. The banquet is served. But pause here. This isn't just about receiving. It's about recognizing. For years you've been positioned, placed, readied, and now the world will see what heaven already knows. You were always here for this moment. The delay, a divine strategy. The pain, fuel for your testimony. The elevation, proof of your obedience. This isn't luck, it's inheritance. So breathe deep. The future you've waited for isn't coming, it's already here. Step into it. The promise is yours, the kingdom is yours, and the joy, it's multiplying. You've carried the weight of battles that weren't yours to fight. The storms others sent your way, they were never meant to break you, they were installing you. Every attack, every betrayal, every moment you chose integrity over ease, that was the training, the anointing. And now, the authority is established. Your presence alone commands alignment. The spiritual realm bends to your stance. But here's the catch. This power doesn't protect the compromised. It only guards the uncompromised. To walk in this authority, you must be unshakable. One compromised choice, one moment of doubt, and the momentum shifts. The enemy will offer you everything to stray popularity, comfort, false validation. But your breakthrough isn't found in the crowd's approval, it's in the still, small voice that says, "This is mine." This authority isn't new. It's been growing within you through every trial, every season of waiting, every time you refused to compromise. The pain you carried, it was the fire that purified your faith. The loneliness, a refining process to remove anything that would hinder your authority. Every tear shed in the wilderness now waters the ground where your influence will grow. What once hurt you now fuels your power. What the enemy meant for destruction, God has remade into your inheritance. But this isn't a crown to be worn lightly. It demands total alignment. Your discernment isn't just a skill, it's your lifeline. Every door, every opportunity, every voice cheering, you must be tested against the Spirit's guidance. If it wavers, walk away. The forces of heaven are moving in your favor. The attacks that once defined you, now prove your victory. But remember, authority without accountability is a counterfeit. Stay rooted, stay discerning, stay unshakable. The season of preparation is over. The acceleration has led here. Now, the only move is forward with eyes fixed on the unseen, heart anchored in obedience. What's ahead? A new wave of revelation, a fresh assignment, a destiny that will leave the enemy trembling. You were positioned for this moment. The delay, it added compound interest to the promise. Now, it's time to claim it. Before you go, chosen one, don't forget, the fact that you made it to the end of this message means something. Your spirit needed this. Don't walk away without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it means everything for the journey God is taking you on. Join the family, your breakthrough might be in the next video.